everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Tuesday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Scotty, it is MACtion. Unlike last week, we've got MACtion over 2 days this week, not just one, but 2 action-filled days.
Well, you know what that means, right?
I give up what?
It means we got football every day this week.
No, football, what?
We got football every day this week.
Oh, yeah, football every day. I think, are we in the middle of a 17-day, 20-day run? I know it's a lot of football.
Well, we didn't have football last Tuesday, so that would have been worth. That would have been worth.
Is that the last non-football day, isn't it? Yes.
I think it has to be.
So we're gonna
get. We finally got that taken care of. So we just got endless football throughout the entire week.
Yeah, endless football. That sounds like that's fantastic. That's like the best buffet in the world. It's endless football.
As long as it's the same flat fee at the start, then it works for me.
Although we needed to go a little better than it did last night, my friend.
Well, I don't think anybody expected the Jets to not even keep the game close, because that is possible because the fact New England isn't very good. But 27 points. Joe Flacco.
Come on, man. Joe Flacco dropping dimes downfield in that first half. Holy mackerel.
Well, it was pretty brutal because I had the Jets team total under 16.5, which wasn't even close, and I had a personal play on a plus 4,600 prop. I had Jacoby Myers 120 plus receiving yards and 1 touchdown, and that was plus 4,600. He had about 160 something receiving yards. He didn't get anything. He got tackled on the first drive at the 5-yard line.
Oh yeah, Cam looked pretty good actually.
No, to make matters worse, he had Myers wide open in the fourth quarter and he overthrew him.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been another touchdown. But Newton, I can't say that he looked good. He looked okay, I guess. I know that his completion percentage was good. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, but he had so many wide open guys downfield that he just didn't even bother looking at half the time.
Missing Crowder.
Well, that's the other team. But
yeah, you're right.
But
it goes without saying.
There were a decent amount of opportunities where Cam had one-on-one coverage or he had an open guy downfield and just decided to check it down to a running back or a backup tight end, where I'm looking at him saying, I get that your completion percentage is good, but this is starting to look like Kansas City Alex Smith territory here. You might want to throw the ball downfield a little bit.
Yeah, well, he figures, it worked for Drew Brees, so.
Yeah, that could be, yeah. But I think you'll agree with me that he didn't exactly go out of his way to push the ball downfield.
No, neither one of those quarterbacks did.
Flacco did a couple times.
Flacco did early. Flacco did early. He threw the deep ball well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Flacco. He's always gonna wind up and throw the deep ball. He finally got his accuracy back for at least one night. So yeah. Terrible game, terrible result, and let's put it in the rearview mirror at least until week 17 when we're forced to talk about these 2 awful teams playing each other again.
Yep.
All right, buddy. So, we got a little MACtion tonight. We got one of our, I know you and I, one of our favorite teams in play, and that is the Akron Zips. Tonight they face off against the Ohio Bobcats. Surprisingly, Ohio 27.5-point favorite here. Total's 58, Scott. That total's been going up. The numbers pretty much stayed there at 27.5. People a little afraid to get it up there to 28. But apparently a little money coming in. A little soft money on Akron. They're like, well, I don't think they're going to cover, but I think they're going to score a little bit. So I'd have a play on the side here, but Scott, I'm going to take a stab at the under here. I just don't think we're going to get much help from Akron. Ohio, I see them putting up somewhere in the mid 40s, and I see Akron, as they usually do, struggling to get to double digits. Your thoughts on that?
So I have a team total as my play today, so I'm going to kind of skip that from the total. But for the sake of the spread, I know that this line has climbed from 25 to 27. I got to take Ohio at 27.5 just because I know that this line's going to cross 28. I don't expect a last-minute buyback on Akron, who lost by 45 in their season opener to Western Michigan. They have 58 points. The offense did actually move the ball a little bit, so that doesn't surprise me. The money has come in on the over because Ohio's defense struggled a lot with Central Michigan's backup quarterback in the season opener because they gave up 30 points, lost the game outright. But I think Akron could potentially score double digits, but at the end of the day, Ohio, I feel like, can name their score in this one. It's a matter of just Akron's defense being so bad. Plus, they still turn the ball over. The special teams isn't very good. There should be a decent amount of chances for Ohio to win this game by 4+ touchdowns. Plus, Ohio did lose the season opener, which means that I'm not saying they're in danger to lose to Akron, but you got to assume the coaching staff is treating this like a must-win game because if they go 0-2 in conference play, their odds of a conference title kind of go down the drain. So I think Ohio is just going to come out focused, beat this team early, then hold on to it late, and I think they'll probably win by 31 points, give or take.
Yeah, this game was 52-3 last year, and it was the last game of the season, at least for Akron. And Ohio went on to play a bowl game, but I don't know. It's hard to see this team getting any better. I know there is a
offensively, they did move the ball more than I thought they would against Western Michigan. Decent amount of possessions in plus territory. Some of them didn't work out. Some of them did, but I don't know. I think that this total, I think it makes sense. Money has come in on the over. I don't know if it's worth taking right now at roughly 58 or 59.5 since you're just relying on Ohio to score 40-plus points in the game. Probably more. But that's the point, though. You're kind of threading a needle there if you like the under because if you think Ohio is going to score 45 points, then you're basically capping Akron's team total at around 13 or 14. And I'm not saying that's not doable. I'm just saying that's pretty dicey if you are going to be looking at the under there, but you also acknowledge that Akron's defense is basically useless.
Yeah, you do kind of have to guard against any kind of a turnover deep in their own territory for Ohio for something like that, where they might just gift them 7 points, and that could certainly upset the apple cart there as far as the under goes because they did give up 58 points to Western Michigan, like you said last week. So giving up a total somewhere in the low to mid 50s is certainly within the realm of possibility. So. All right. So now we're going to look at another big number here, Scott, as the Kent State Golden Flashes take on the Bowling Green Falcons, another game that has been slow to climb over that key number of 21, just like the Ohio game is kind of stuck for now at 27.5. You think it's going to cross 28? I guess that's possible. It's
I don't see where money's coming in on Akron before kickoff.
Yeah, it's hard to think that anybody's loving Akron, or for that matter, Bowling Green. This is another fairly dreadful team here, Scott.
I also don't know how good Toledo is. I know Toledo is usually an offensive team with Peters at quarterback, but defensively, I never exactly thought of Toledo being a very, very good defensive team, and Bowling Green was beyond just stuck against Toledo's defense. They couldn't do anything. For the majority of the game. I know that Bowling Green brought in a new quarterback who they were hoping to fix things, and he somehow looked worse than any other quarterback they've had in recent memory. I got to pull up the stats on him, but because I don't have it in front of me, but I remember it was beyond awful when it comes to that performance. They lost 38-3. They went down 20-plus in the first quarter. It was pretty ugly from start to finish. Bowling Green's quarterback, 8 for 30.
8 for 30. Another Boston College kid.
That's almost impossible. How do you complete roughly 25% of your passes?
Yeah, that's what are you at about 27% there? I guess 8 for 32 would be 20.
I'm just saying I knew Bowling Green would be bad, and I think you'll agree with me. Toledo's defense is usually middle of the pack in the MAC. But really, you complete 26.7% of your passes? What are you kidding me?
You want to take a guess at the QBR?
It's got to be single digits.
4.4.
Okay, that rounds down. Okay, I'll take it.
That's outstanding.
Either way, do you think that McDonald's going to even make it through this entire game? I don't think Kent State's defense is very good. But I think the offense with Crum should be able to put up points in bunches here. I'm going to lean to Kent State personally. It's just a matter of fading Bowling Green and Akron pretty much evenly because both those teams they're just next level worse than any other team in the conference, and it's not really close.
They really are. This isn't like Jacksonville, where they occasionally put up a good performance or somebody gets hot, the defense plays well. These are two just dreadful teams that don't do anything right. They don't have good offenses. They don't have good defenses.
For comparison, in another conference, they're worse versions of Vanderbilt.
Yes.
And Vanderbilt's not going to win a game. Like that team is awful. I know that they were very close against Mississippi State. Mississippi State's terrible. But Vanderbilt is going to go over. That team is awful. And yet you look at these two teams and say, how are both these teams in the same conference and they're both even worse?
Crum's the best quarterback in the MAC.
He's my favorite quarterback in the MAC. I don't know if he's the best, but I'm a huge Crum guy. I watched him last year when Kent State went in that a little bit of a run. I saw the bowl game against Utah State where they put up, I believe it was 50-plus in that game.
Yeah, they punked him.
Crum is good. Guy's good. I'm not saying that he's got a pro future or anything like that, but for MAC standards, he's definitely a top-tier quarterback.
Yeah, and he's a dual threat guy, and we didn't see a lot of the legs last week because they didn't need to. But I think he could be. I think it's possible he's a top 5 dual threat quarterback in the group of 5.
Definitely possible. I mean, I have to think of who else would be considered a dual threat guy. Well, does BYU count as a group of 5 if they're independent or no?
No,
that doesn't count. Yes, I was going to say Zach Wilson non-power 5 is an option, but like I'm thinking in my head, Clayton Tune. Real is he mobile enough? Like I think that if you're going with independence, I'm a huge fan of Willis from Liberty. But yeah, non-group of 5, I kind of have to agree with you. I can't really think of many on the top of my head.
Okay, all right. So,
are there any that you could think of for mobile quarterback?
No, you think of Derek King. Of course, he moved on and transferred.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Clayton Tune's that mobile. I know that Memphis's quarterback has some mobility, but not an insane amount.
Well, you've got
I think White's a little bit mobile, not really.
Yeah, you've got some of the Sun Belt. You got Shai Wertz, which
Levy Lewis, who I don't think is a great thrower, but he can run.
Right, that's the thing. And Shai Wertz is having a great season either. So, I put him right up there. I think this kid is, like I said, I don't think he may have a future in Canada.
Yeah, if we're going just non-power 5, I still think that Wilson of course would be the peak of that, but I think that Crum is a little bit worse than Willis from Liberty, but I still think that he does have a lot of upside. He's also very young.
Right.
Crum can still develop a little bit.
And the kid from Coastal is a thrower, not really much of a runner, so he's not really a dual threat.
Yeah, McCall's very good, but yeah.
Now Grayson McCall, that's a kid that may have a future in the NFL. It's quite possible that he's it could be a clipboard holder by the time it's all said and done. We'll
see. But I agree with you. I think he'll definitely bare minimum make a training camp.
Yeah, agreed.
So
yeah, you and I both on Kent State here. I don't see any way around that. I really don't. This is a Bowling Green team that isn't as bad as Akron, because Akron's on a different level.
This might sound a little bit. Just a quick question here. I understand that money has come in on Kent State. Is it surprising the money's coming in on Kent State and the under?
Yeah, that's all. Anytime, like you said, the first game. Anytime you got to thread the needle there, it's always an interesting proposition. But I don't hate it. In fact, I would probably look to the under in both of these games, because for Kent State, if it's 21, you're looking at roughly 30, 39, 17, 30, 38, 38, 17 and a half.
I think the hard part about taking the under in this game, if you were going to, is the fact that McDonald could easily just throw a couple of pick sixes and you're just looking at the board going, well, that was fast. But yeah, the thing you have to also mention is that I know last year isn't really worth much because of all the turnover, but Bowling Green has scored less than 8 points in 3 of their last 4 games.
Fair enough.
So they can't score.
All right. Well, yeah, I'd like to be edgelord and kick one of these dogs here, but these are just dreadful.
These two teams are. I'll tell you what. If you take UMass plus the points, you got to the bank.
Yeah.
So even every now and then, a terrible team will cover as an underdog, but I don't think the spreads are high enough for these two teams.
Akron was 1-11 against the number last year, and that included a game against UMass. So
Akron covered last year. I thought they were 0-12.
No, they covered their. They lost the game 20-17.
I don't know why. I thought they were 0-for.
I did too. I honestly did too. I thought
they said in my video they were 0-for. So sorry, they were 1-11 against the spread. My bad.
I thought they were over 0-for as well.
Either way, these teams are. You throw them in any conference, they're pretty much going 0-for. The only exception is when they play each other.
Yeah, this is not. Neither one of those are good teams, and it's a shame. It's a nice, solid conference. Yeah, they lost to Miami of Ohio 20-17.
Okay.
Second to the last game. I remember because we were on Miami in that game.
And that makes sense because Gabbert with that offense has been pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, let's talk about him. This is moving on to the next game here. Buffalo -8, playing Miami of Ohio and Blaine Gabbert's little brother. And this money has been coming in on Ohio here on Miami, Scott. It was 9.5 last night, and it is down to 8 today. And it looks like it could be headed to 7.5, as a matter of fact. What do you make of this Buffalo team? You know, they're supposed to have this fantastic defense. They did score 3 defensive touchdowns last week, but they gave up 30 points to what I thought was going to be a pretty pedestrian Northern Illinois offense, rather.
I'm not a big Ross Bowers guy, so I don't have many thoughts on that. Now, it is worth mentioning that the money coming in on Miami, Ohio, is kind of also based on Gabbert because Gabbert might not play.
Right, he's questionable for this one.
Truth is, the offense looked better once he left. They brought in Meyer into the game, who was phenomenal in relief, as he ended up going 16 for 24, 212 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. So Miami's offense went from extremely bland to somewhat dynamic when the starting quarterback got injured. And I don't know about you, but I got to assume Meyer's going to start this game. I mean, he basically carried the team to a win in week 1.
Well,
I think I kind of have to, right?
No, I don't think they have. I think if Gabbert's healthy, he starts.
I disagree.
Really?
I do. I think Gabbert, even though I don't know, it's a matter of Gabbert in the first game against Ball State. He didn't really do much. He was 5 for 8, 76 yards, which is okay.
Right.
But if you look at what happened, Meyer brought the team back. They scored 28 points in the second half. And Miami's defense is mediocre, so they're going to need to outscore teams. And if Meyer gives you a better chance to put up points on the scoreboard, then I feel you kind of have to use Meyer. Especially
those numbers project almost exactly to, like, Gabbert was 5 for 8, Meyer's 16 for 24. So if you extrapolate that out, that means Gabbert would have been 15 for 24.
I'm just saying that I don't think there's much purpose in rushing Gabbert back for this game when it looks like the drop-off is pretty much non-existent, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I think Meyer may be just as good as Gabbert. I don't think they do any kind of big quarterback change. I think this is job.
I think Gabbert will get the job back when he's fully healthy, but I'm saying I don't see the purpose of fully rushing Gabbert back when the backup quarterback looked arguably better, if not equal, to Gabbert in the first game.
What's the injury? Do you know?
Let me look at that. It's a head injury.
Oh, that's right. He's in concussion protocol. That's right.
So I don't think they're going to rush him out saying, oh, enjoy Buffalo. No, I think they're going to let Meyer get this game, see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, they'll go back to Gabbert.
Okay. And you think he's coming in on Miami of Ohio because Gabbert won't be starting?
I think that's part of it. I think that the other part is the fact that Buffalo's defense was so bad against Northern Illinois' offense that they assume that since Miami Ohio's offense showed life in the first game by dropping 38, they can score enough points to keep this close. I think that's the logic there. So I think it's a mix between Miami Ohio's offense looking really good in week 1 with Buffalo's defense looking pretty underwhelming in week 1 as well. So I think that they're just assuming that Miami is going to score enough points to keep this game within single digits, which makes sense considering the fact that the total has gone up from 54.5 to roughly 55.5. I think you'll see more over money before kickoff.
You could be right. I think it's going to be another game up there in Buffalo with beautiful weather. It's a
little bit. It's November, but it's a little bit too early for it to start wondering when's the snow happening.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's plenty of years, and this living in New York. There's plenty of years where Buffalo's getting a hell of a lot of snow,
especially upstate. Yeah, any part of upstate.
No, I'm not saying in the city. I'm saying upstate.
No, I'm saying, upstate. That's what I'm saying. So Buffalo right now is fine. December, I do expect snow.
Oh, sure. I mean, it could happen. It could happen later this week. But I mean, right, it's going to be in the 60s with about a 10, 11 mile an hour wind. So
for me, my only thought on this game, truth is, I'm gonna pass on the spread because I'm still a little bit uncertain about this Buffalo team, mostly because of the fact that I don't think their quarterback is any good.
Yeah.
Their ground game, of course, is a next level. And everyone knows that because people went in Buffalo being the favorite in the conference because of the fact that they had the goal to just run the ball down people's throats. The issue that I have is that Buffalo's quarterback in Van Treese went 11 for 17 for 175, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was awful. So I know that Patterson and Marks are dual-headed monster that are very good. If Miami, Ohio stacks the box and just forces Van Treese to beat him with his arm, I don't know if he can. So I can't lay this number with Buffalo. I think it makes sense. Money's coming in on Miami. Having said all that, I'm going to take the over because Miami, Ohio's game had 30. They won 30-31 at 69 total points. Buffalo's offense was solid because of the ground game. They also were able to put up points defensively. There were a couple of defensive scores. 79 points against Northern Illinois. I know, of course, you had a couple of defensive touchdown outliers. It's still a ton of points. I think this game will get into the 60s. I think that this game should be close, but I do think 55 is too low, especially with good weather in Buffalo. So I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, my problem with this, and I know it had to do a lot with the amount of turnovers, but Buffalo, they ended up running just 51 plays last week. So they've got to they do plod along.
Yeah, I know Miami, Ohio defensively. I think that if you're going to take the over, you have to keep in mind of who Buffalo's playing against from a rush yards allowed perspective, because Buffalo's going to want to run the ball all the time, and you're going to need them to probably break 1 or 2. Miami's given up 169 rushing yards per game. They didn't stop the run well against Ball State. I think they'll look even worse. Buffalo could probably go for 200-plus rushing yards in this game, which definitely would not surprise me. So
no.
I think Buffalo should score around 35. I think Miami should score around 28, 27 or so.
Yeah.
So I'll take the over.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go along with you there. I'm with you. I'm kind of reluctant to get involved with this side. Buffalo does have a habit with Van Treese. I don't think I hate him as much as you do. I think he's average.
I don't say that I hate him. I just think that he is definitely the Achilles heel of that offense.
Well, yeah. When you've got two fantastic running backs like Marks and Patterson, yeah, you're an average quarterback is certainly going to be your.
You figure, a decent quarterback, some play action, deep passes might set something up. Van Treese just isn't accurate with the ball, especially downfield. So that's a little bit of a concern when it comes to Buffalo remaining balanced offensively, which is a problem.
Although, he did average over 10 yards in attempt last week, which is that's a fine number right there.
Yeah, it's fine. I just don't think it's sustainable.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I think you and I agree on this one. It's a little. We're both reluctant to get involved with the side. Miami's is a solid team. Buffalo supposed to be next level, but we've got some questions about the.
Do you think Buffalo deserves to be the favorite in the conference?
They
were pretty overwhelming favorites. I know that they were still plus money, but they were the favorites going in. I said my 2 sleepers were Western Michigan and Kent State, and Kent State was 10-1. Western Michigan was about 6-1, and I don't think Buffalo is that much better than either team.
No, I don't think they would need to be a prohibitive favorite. I think they probably do have the good quarterback. I think the best team in the league, but I don't know that it's. I don't know if it's by a lot. I like this Kent State team. I really do.
Defensively, they're going to need to make some improvements, but I do like them a lot.
They are. They're going to need to outscore some people. They're going to need to outgun them. So. We'll see how that goes. You and I are both going to take the over in this one. 55, I think, is a good number. Good weather up there. And I think both of these offenses are going to be able to have some success. So, all right, bud, that's it for day 1 of the MAC. We'll be back tomorrow to take a look at the other MAC teams. Got a little Toledo, Western Michigan should be the highlight of that day of that card. So we'll see how that goes. Any final thoughts on the MAC, Scott?
No, just happy that after having all the games on Wednesday with some of them games not on TV, ESPN's finally going to be able to show all the games because they broke it up into 2 days.
Yeah, you got the two dog games that go early at 8 o'clock and 8:30, and then the Miami Buffalo headliner game is going to be at 9 o'clock. So yeah, we should have an opportunity to. By the time one of those bets is won for us in the early games, we should be able to turn on Buffalo and watch it.
Yep.
Uninterrupted for the most part. So, all right, buddy, there you go. We'll be back tomorrow, like I said, to do it again on MAC. If you want to look for a deeper dive on any of these games or tomorrow's games, we got some MAC experts over there at Winners and Winers. I highly recommend checking it out. Deep dives into every single game, every single day. And that includes the MAC, baby. So get yourself over there to winnersandwiners.com and check it out. And that's going to do it for us, for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwiners.com. Wishing you good luck on all your plays. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. And you guys have a great day. Thanks again for watching. And we'll see you tomorrow on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.